Yeah, ease of execution is always something that's important, even at a pro level, because it signifies stability, right? Like, you're not going to do poorly in most situations, but it looks like it's going to be an Invoker versus a Shadow Fiend mid, which is like an age-old matchup. Like, we haven't seen in quite a while. That was back when TA was popular, and you used to see like TA Invoker or SF against
Quap as well.
Yeah, Queen of Pain. Those were like straight away from just one high-level EMP hitting on them. And when you're playing against heroes who probably aren't going to have more than one pair of Arcane Boots for a majority of the game, and I mainly mean like just Darkseer, right? Like, he's going to get them, but maybe, you know, the Abaddon or the CM can't afford them for quite a while. So when you only have one, it's very hard to actually fight. Two is kind of the minimum. We saw that yesterday. I believe it was actually Alliance who had two pair when they were playing against an EMP
Alliance.
Invoker.
Yeah, Alliance had.
So it's been a long time since people were picking this hero like a lot, but now since he's coming back into the limelight a bit, I think it's kind of necessary to just become accustomed to that again.
They also nerfed the mana boots, didn't they? They increased the cost to use them.
Yeah, so there is.
But it was only 10, right? Like 10 increased mana cost.
Yeah, but for Abaddon, who only has like what, 300 mana?
Yeah, I actually think there is a good chance where EMP takes you away from that requisite of whatever amount to use that EMP. So we'll see. No, it's going to be Exort Invoker, so it's going to be that quick Forge Spirit. Obviously, there is a small chance that he's getting the first point into Exort just for the laning, but I kind of doubt it. I think most pros nowadays have learned how to last it with Quas and whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be the quick Forge Spirit, which is going to be a very, very good single target point damage, especially for heroes like Crystal Maiden, who is already a very, very frail lady. So we'll see how things go. This is very interesting. I think Crystal Maiden is actually going towards the top lane to drop off a couple wards, and it's going to be an aggressive try.
I'm a bit torn about this choice from Solo. So Shane, I'm gonna pose you a question, okay? If you're playing 1v1 mid and you're against an SF, even if the other team is pretty susceptible to Quas Wex, do you go Exort just to make sure that you can keep the SF down a little bit more? Or do you go Quas Wex and maybe hope that your offlane Mirana can try to pressure him? Because as soon as they see this aggressive tri-lane, my first thought is that if you're dodging each other and the Mirana is going to be able to farm at least a decent amount, she can potentially rotate. Like, what would you rather do?
I think you have more potential for solo kill with Exort, to be honest, if you can get that Cold Snap Sunstrike thing.
Yeah.
But if you're Quas Wex, you need someone else. I think it's too hard to do it on your own. So maybe that's the idea, that they don't have to rotate it.
So you'd rather play it for the laning phase in the early game?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm actually with the Exort build here as well, especially because there's a tri-lane versus tri-lane top. You know your Sunstrike's going to be landing a good number of time. And also, if you do have the better laning against the Shadow Fiend, who else is going to farm well on VP? I mean, Naga, we assume she's not going to farm too well because of her low base damage and the fact that she is an offensive tri-lane. And Darkseer versus Mirana, oh sorry, I just completely had a brain fart. Illidan's playing Naga safe lane.
Yeah, it's safe lane Naga.
Yeah, never
versus,
mind. Naga's going to do well here against Mirana, right? Especially with the poor man's Joe and high base armor.
Yeah, he got pooled as well, so he's got a couple of extra tangos. It's a bit interesting to me, though, that he decided to go for Illusions first, but doing quite some damage in top lane. We can already see a crush going off there on Jotum, but I don't know how this matchup's going to go, really. I mean, Mirana's base damage is not known for being significant, right? Like 47?
No. Yeah.
Not the best. So I think he'll be fine.
But I think Sunstrike still stands and makes a very, very powerful addition to the top lane, especially when you have Nightmare, Crush, and everything else. I think they're going to go right here on Thunder. Thunder is going to... Where's the Nightmare? No Nightmare just yet. They're going to just straight up Crush. Crush is going to cut... well,
what a shield.
There's a shield. Well, that's going to mess everything up. But they wanted to Crush Sunstrike combo.
I love how you still called him Thunder. That totally made me smile.
Well, is it Z or Thunder? I don't know. It's just Thunder to me.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, I think that the Sunstrike, just seeing the Abaddon shield once, it's like suddenly things seem tough.
Yeah, their plan out the window. Does the Abaddon shield get rid of the weave from the Dazzle?
I don't think it gets rid of ultis. Well, actually, it gets rid of Poison Nova. I know that for sure.
I don't think... Yeah, it gets off like Beastmaster Roar, for example. Like, I don't think OT or not OT has anything to do with it. But for Weave, I'm not sure.
I don't think it actually removes Weave.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it does? Question mark?
I don't think it does.
Well, we'll see.
One of us is wrong, so
wrong.
We'll find out. I'm sure the chat will be hollering about it in like 2 minutes from now when the delay actually catches up. But I'm not really... This dual off lane, it's getting some experience, but I feel to a certain point it might just be better for the Darkseer to just go farm his jungle. Like, he's not really going to get as much as if he just goes to the woods, and the Abaddon doesn't really need anyone to sit up here and help him. He's not going to die, and they can't get in any more aggressive position than they have been, even with 2 heroes, because it's still very scary.
Yeah, I mean, the option here for rox.KIS right now is they can't kill anybody else in the lane. Obviously, the shield's going to come out, so you try to go for the Bane, but or sorry, you try to go for the Abaddon, but Abaddon should just stay back and let Thunder take the hate. And Thunder is going to take some hate. He takes a Toucan to the face right now. No Nightmare just yet. You can see Johnham looking for the shield. They're doing a ton of damage. There's a shield. Where's the Nightmare? There's a Nightmare. The shield came out way early. Where's the Slaughter though? Slaughter playing with creeps. I think they're not going to kill Thunder, but they do good harass, so that's pretty good.
It's actually surprising that he actually lived there because Jotham wasn't even level 2.
Yeah.
Like, all he had was a shield. He didn't even have a miscall, but yeah, Arsart gets away. No big deal.
The patience they show is ridiculous, isn't it?
But yeah, he has to go back to base now, and I think he should just go to jungle like you said.
He might just make that transition, honestly. What would you do, Shane? Would you go
you
back
leave
to that?
Abaddon up there on his own?
Well, here's the thing, CM's already jungle.
Well, what were they doing, even with 2 of them? Like, they were sitting up here, and they weren't getting really any experience to speak of, and Darkseer can jungle pretty effectively, even at very low level.
Do you think you can leave Abaddon there, though? He'll be okay.
He's going to TP back. He bought a TP, so I don't think he's actually going to be going to the woods at all. And
yeah,
here he comes.
CM's in the jungle, so maybe that's why they're letting her to do
the CM doesn't jungle the whole jungle.
Yeah, no, she's roaming, right? Yeah, she jungle up to level 3, and this is the correct way to do it. You don't jungle all the way to like 8 or 9 with the Midas, which I see in pubs way too much. It's going to be a smoking on the bot lane. They're going to go on Sidoi. Sidoi with Leap of Velo should be okay. There's even a chance that she kills the CM. Good harass coming out against Illidan. Illidan maybe trying to bait out a leap.
He is for sure. Oh,
yep,
there it is.
There you go. CM gonna come in. Frostbite Nova. Illidan dropping low, but the Pro Man shield keeping him alive. Arrow dodge and Sidoi. Well, Sunstrike's gonna come in. It's gonna get the kill. Sidoi's still alive. He's gonna trade the right clicks. The creeps are coming in. NS gonna clean things up, but huge win here for Sidoi. I think Invoker got half the experience, or did Sidoi get all of it?
Top lane as well. I think he got all of it, actually. But
yeah, you do.
Looks like Arsart's trying to go on Goblak right here, doing a little bit of damage. Crush comes in, and I think Arsart's actually going to end up dropping here. Jotham has 1 second on his miscoil, but he can't go for the kill now. Yol on retreat. Looks like there's going to be a Nightmare on a Jotham. Should be enough to line up another Crush, and yeah, that's just going to be 2 heroes dead in the top lane. So a double kill for the Slardar. Not the greatest engagement by VP. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to go for that, honestly, in a 2v3, especially when you have a Bane, because then the 2v3 essentially becomes a 1v3. You can't bounce the Nightmare effectively as just 2 heroes. There's no way to really do that, especially when you're outnumbered already. So not entirely sure how I feel about them pressuring that so hard, but one thing we've kind of been skipping on a little bit, we focused a lot on top, we focused a lot on bottom. This middle matchup, G is destroying right now.
Yes.
He's 26-5, and Solo is 14-8.
Well, you play this mid matchup a lot more than I guess I have. Or maybe Shane, you play this matchup more too as well. Who should it favor?
I
feel like if you go Exort Invoker, you should dominate.
You should be
the
winning,
lane.
right? Especially with Cold Snap and whatever else.
He hasn't used the babies at all. He's just he has Cold Snap and Sunstrike invoked, and no babies.
Yeah, Forge Spirits are kind of the whole laning presence with that build. I mean, allegedly, I'm actually not great at using them either, but I know that's what you're supposed to do, because even if you have 3 points in Exort, they're not really that durable, but you can use them to bully the other person in the lane around. And there really hasn't been a whole lot of pressure on mid. The CM has only gone bottom, and other than that, it's just been sitting in the woods pretty much, so NS presence on the map hasn't been that fantastic as of yet. He did help his team get 1 kill, but at the cost of his safe lane farmer. So I'm just a bit surprised that it's going this heavily in G's favor.
Yeah, with that said, the Solo is helping out with things like Sunstrike elsewhere.
Oh, so Goblak going to spot out G. Here comes the Nightmare, and they're going to be able to pick up the Haste Rune. They're going to line up the Sunstrike right on top of the Nightmare. Shadow Wave is there as well, and G has no chance. He's just super dead.
Yep. Very nice kill. Bane, unfortunately, gets the last hit, which I'm sure Invoker really wants. He does have the Phase Boots. And what do you feel about Phase Boot on a hero like Invoker? I know Dendi really loves things like Arcane sometimes even, or just keeps it a basic, or sometimes even go Treads. What's your thought on Phase for a non-Wex Quas Invoker?
I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't think
because for me, when you get phase, it's because you want the base damage if you're going Quas Wex to make your auto attacks feasible to last hit with, or just, supplement your damage a tiny bit more, because when you already have high base damage, you typically want to get attack speed, or if you have high attack speed, you want to get base damage. So just the way it, I guess, maths out, maybe you know more than I do about that, but I just feel as though your auto attack damage is Exort is significant enough to warrant going Treads just for the attack speed.
Yeah, to be fair, it is one of the cheapest way to get plus 24 damage early game, so maybe that's something that's what he's going for. And he's also very close to level 9, which is the magical level where you get 2 Forge Spirit in combination of your plus 24 damage. That could hurt really, really a lot in the early game, so maybe he's going for something like that. But G, doing well so far. He is most likely going to go something like Treads into BKB, but we did see Danny go Blink yesterday, so we'll see.
On a Sidoi, he's going to leap away, and he's actually going to get nightmared up as well by Goblak, so really nice reaction. no death going to be had. And this Darkseer, man, he has just traversed the entire map. He's only level 4.
He has no home to go to.
Yeah, I mean, I really would start thinking about just jungling if I were him, because if he's supposed to be the team's mech carrier, ours starts ages away, man. It's just so far.
Yeah, John M in the top lane takes a little bit of harass. Maybe John M's going to be the mech carrier, although he's not farmed at all either, so. Looking too good here for VP. Their lanes are not really winning, aside from G, but bot lane looks like we're going to see a little bit of rotation.
Because they want to try to do something. There is another leap up on Sadoy, so yeah, this is one of those situations where VP is stuck between a rock and a hard place, because all the lanes that rox.KIS have are so hard to gank. There's a Vanguard on Slider.
It's not too hard to gank Exort, Quas, and Vogler, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's very easy to react. Like, ganking Dire on this side, when you have these kind of heroes that can TP, like Bane, and you have Mirana ulti on top of that, it's very difficult to be able to actually get a kill with the low damage output that they have on their team. Arrow going to line up on Illidan, Sunstrike to follow it up. The Song not even able to be channeled.
Perfect. Chain stun here. NS hangs around a little bit too long. Gotta careful. He knows that the stuns are down momentarily, so he should be okay. There's a ping going on Invoker on the mid lane, maybe saying, man, we need to gank this guy, because once he does get to level 9, I think SF just have to leave the lane at that point. He really cannot deal with 2 Force Spirit.
Well, not only that, but there's actually been more rotation coming out from the side of rox.KIS than there has VP, so I feel like the SF is just going to not have a whole heck of a lot of room to function. And since Illidan isn't really doing much better, he's 0-2 right now, there's not really a whole lot of plan B. I think a lot of what VP wanted to do is try to take mid-game fights, because their team in that regard is strong enough to, I think, actually stand against rox.KIS, but the laning phase has just gone so poorly for them so far.
Yeah.
This is before the minus armor comes into play as well. This is just the laning phase. Like, if they have an advantage going into the mid game, I think they'll just crush. Like.
I think a lot of people see the minus armor in a draft and be like, oh yeah, that's what they're going for. But I really think minus armor doesn't really kick in till like 25-30 minutes. It's more of a mid to late game kind of thing. I think right now it's just hero composition. For example, 6-6-6-3-3 is almost going to be going towards his blink dagger, and once that blink comes out, what answer is there for VP? I guess they could Song, I guess they have shield, but when you're running away from heroes like Slaughter and Mirana, you're not in a good shape.
Dire's bottom tower.
I actually kind of disagree with the minus armor not being good early game, because Slardar's level 1 amp is minus 10 armor, and that's on demand. I kind of agree with Weave because it takes time for the ability to actually stack it up, but if you just amp somebody, no one really even has 10 armor at this stage in the game. So you're already hitting harder than you would normally against those heroes, and physical damage output, no matter what stage of the game, I think is always going to be pretty good. So
completely fair, yeah. I haven't seen him amp anything yet.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's safe lane farming, so he hasn't done much. But I'm just saying, like, once he does start deciding to come to fights, which is probably going to be after that blink dagger, like you had mentioned.
900 gold.
Yeah, he's close.
Yeah, this game's gonna have to go somewhere soon for Virtus Pro, because I mean, I guess by design their lineup doesn't do anything. Illidan has a Ring of Health, which I'm not sure what that.
Going for a dive on G in top lane.
There's a minus armor.
Yeah, Jotum's there.
Everybody runs. You know, when you have heroes like Crystal Maiden and Abaddon, they're not exactly the most mobile counter ganker, so they can't do anything. Thunder might be in a little bit of trouble in the mid lane here. If he gets spotted out, he's dead.
I think he's kind of aware of that, given his positioning. He's just like, I don't want to be anywhere near this. I'm just
bot lane here. Illidan gets arrow by Sadoy, and that's going to be 1 kill. NS very, very slow. Yo's going to get the Sunstrike. That's going to land it to the face. NS goes down as well. Just surgical extraction here coming out from rox.KIS all over the map, and I think that tier 1 bot is also going to go down quick. I still don't know, by the way, what Naga Siren's going for with that Ring of Health.
Lincoln's, I guess, is it?
That was the old... the very, very old Chinese way of building Naga was like treads Lincolns.
It's so horrible.
But it's not good when you're behind.
Yes.
Like, you can't really afford to... It's the same reason why you typically don't buy Radiance when you're behind, because you have to get another item on top of that for your hero to start becoming a threat to the other team. Yeah. But
Radiant structures are fortified.
The other reason, too, is when you're losing, you don't have as much of the map to farm.
Yes.
So if you get an item to farm... Oh, speaking of G, gonna get Fiend's Grip here. They're going to pop Moonlight Shadow. Ice Wall by Solo. Man, the starter just wants to go in. Shot him just explodes. He's not even level 6 yet. NS is going to be soon to follow. It's going to be a killing spree for him.
That's a bad sign. 6-3-3 got a double kill without having access to his Blink Dagger. Now he picks it up. And with hero like Slaughter, you could easily pop off the Lincoln on Roshan and take a free Aegis. And I think that's perhaps what they're looking towards to do. There's no way challenges, given the fact that Darkseer is level 6. I guess Naga's still with a sleep, but Naga's sleep is down, so never mind. Free Aegis here coming out for rox.KIS.
Minus armor, man. Even Roshan can't stand to this. That's the nice thing about these kind of strategies too, is when you play them on Dire, as soon as you have one opportunity for Rosh, you know you can get it guaranteed. And since the starter has Vanguard, it's really, really easy for them to tank it up. And they already have Yul on the Dazzle as well, so there's going to be heals on top of it. And with an Aegis on 633, it's going to be, I don't know, man. Maybe the beginning of the end here for VP.
Yeah, they're going to have some magical team fight where you kind of remove 3 or 4 members of rox.KIS in a flat go, but they just don't have that burst on top lane, and that takes the arrow, a Starstorm, and that's going to be it. Sadoy maybe going to chase a little bit here. They will have, yeah, the Slaughter's coming in. Blink. Where's the crush? There's a crush. He's going to use his AM damage first. Sunstrike's going to come in as well. Illidan, very tanky, but not tank enough, and that's going to be yet another kill here for 633. I just like the way that they could chase so far with things like Blink, Leaf, GG gets called, and it's not an early GG.
Not even surprised.
Yeah. 13 minutes, done.
I was about to say, like, they have a chance if they get the Naga sleep into the Shadow Fiend ulti.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've seen things happen before like that, but...
So, Shane, I know Lumi and I talked quite a bit that game, but where do you think it all kind of went wrong for them?
Basically, when they sent them 2 lads to the top lane, they couldn't do anything. Like
the 2 lads, I like that word choice.
They were just standing there.
But do you think that maybe going to the jungle for the Darkseer would have been a better option? Just so he had something. Because the only thing that resulted from Darkseer being top was they took a fight they couldn't win and they both